Taking our straw form and wiring it to our metal form. We've taken the plastic wrapping off. 22 gauge wire. This is a 26 gauge wire, which is actually lighter than the 22. You can use either one. Either one will work. And then we're going to, before we wire it on, we're going to put our hook on. This one I'm going to put a nice, it's actually a curtain rod curtain holder, and I'm going to actually put the metal part and the wood to make it strong, so we'll put that on first. About in half and twist it. Then I'm going to put it, like I said, around the wood too, because it's going to make it stronger. Take it up. This is going to be the top, what will ultimately be the top of our wreath. Get it through. It'll hold it in place if you get it on one of the cross wires. Everything's just twisting and wiring. And I'm also going to put another one that way. That way. Bring it through. Probably could have. And just twist. I've got a good solid hold. And that's also going to be the top. It'll look nice when this gets real big and you have a nice hook for that. I've also used keychains for hooks. Metal, they're strong. So it's kind of whatever look you want. There's no rules. Very few things I do have rules. It's called being creative. Do it whatever grabs you. So here we're going to just anchor it here by a twist. And a twist. And that's where we'll end off too. And we're just going to go round and round and secure this to the straw to the wire, metal wire ring. And twisting it, pulling a little bit tight. There you go. So come around to the other side. Make sure you cut your piece long enough to be able to attach it, or you can leave some of your wire loose from where you started. Either way, it'll work. So pull this, get in there a couple of times. And attach it. Okay, I'll save that wire for another one I put through, so you can see now it's all attached. You got your top piece. Yes, and my glass of wine, as this is a meditation, that wine gives me the right meditative spirit. So we've got all of that attached. Now we can start getting our big cones for the outside and the inside, and then we'll wire those. Get your loose stuff out. So I've laid out my outside cones, and you make it congruent, you know, similar in shape. If you do have some that are bigger, like this is bigger than a lot of them, then put them in a focal point and try and find 1, 2, 3, 4 big ones to give it a nice congruent and a symmetric look. And then I'm going to start putting them on the inside. I'll probably choose more of a medium. I'll play with it, but I'll probably choose more of a medium pine cone. The outside I looked for the larger. So I'm going for more of a medium-sized cone rather than a larger in the middle. And then as you're sorting through, find pieces that look like they could work on the top, that have a really pretty little flowery shape. So I get those and I kind of set them aside as I'm building, now I'm looking for a smaller one to fit in here. Of course, I may not know what the hell I'm talking about. You just do what you like to do. So I put more of the medium in the middle so that you have a little more of a hole there. Doesn't mean that you can't put larger ones there and tighten it up. It's whatever you prefer. So I've counted 37 cones here, so I'm going to cut 37 wires and get it a little more streamlined. 37 and counting, and there's one. I cut them about a foot. So take off your shoes, fill up your wine glass. You're going to be cutting for a while. This is not a quick project. This is a slow, relaxing, on the edge of a meditative project. Can't be too in a hurry. It takes you could take you anywhere 6 to 8 hours to knock one out once you get rolling. So I've got a number of wires cut. Just keep them there, and then you're going to separate your center cones from your outside. So I'm going to put my outside cones here so I don't get them mixed up. I've gone through all the trouble of sorting them. So I just take a wire, bend it in half, not a tight bend, a loose bend. And take that cone, get it in there, weave it in there, try and get it up towards the center so that it lays well. And you just start twisting. Hold it tight, not too loose. You just keep twisting until it's snug in the middle. I get the fan on because it's getting hot in here. And you want to be comfortable. You want to enjoy the whole process of making this, from the gathering to putting together. If they're a little long like that, you can still put the needle through it, but you can trim it to make it a little easier to pull it through if you need to. You may not. Okay, so we've got all of the outside wired up, put in their separate container, and now we're going to start on the inside. Well, you get started. I'm going to go fill my wine glass. I'll be back. You keep working. Set it in place in the direction you'd like. Go ahead and hold it. Stick it in. See that there? I'll turn. Oops. Some of the straw with it. Adjust it as you need. playing here with my composition, seeing if it's going to work, seeing my layout even before in case I need to make more of these with the feathers and the heather. Given time, these will probably get too dusty, and so we're making it so that they can be pulled out or clipped out, and you're really passing on the gift of creativity, because then they can add their own, but you'll still have that wonderful basic of all these cones wired in that they can add any of their own embellishments down the road, or use their own treasures, their own creativity in putting their new ones together. This is a legacy gift. Use your glue, and we're going to put our moss all inside and stick it in here and kind of secure those with the moss, and all on the outside with glue on the outside. So for this one, it's a bigger 18-inch. I'm using just the green moss. It'll probably take about 2 bags. Probably for the whole thing. We'll see. Needle nose pliers will come in handy, and then I always have just a little screwdriver, and expect it to get messed up, so don't use one of your good ones. I'm going to get it down in there and going down the sides too, and we'll just get it in sections. About 1/4 at a time. Seems to work pretty well. Let's stuff it down in here. It's going to be fairly thick. Let's stick it down in there. Holds those pine cones in place. And you'll be filling in more around here later. Take up your loose edges. Tuck it down in there. Holds those pine cones in place to tuck it down those little crevices. Also, if you see any wires sticking up in here, fill it in with glue and stick some. And start the outside cones. You're going to get dirty, so you might want an apron. I don't really care about getting dirty. I live on a ranch, so I'm used to dirty. But because you will, yeah, you might want to wear an apron, mess going around. Make sure you got that garbage can there. Let that dry for a minute, let it kind of set. Oh, another good item to have is that goo off, because the pine tar gets on your hands and really hard to get off, as well as glue and other things. So that goo off stuff is good to have around, handy. And holding up that cone, seeing if it's positioned well, stick it in, push it in with that. Pull it through on the other side. And it's an easier one to get onto there. Latched onto this one and just keep adding 2 sections of wire. more strength ultimately. So give it a good tug before you start your twists. Again, we're using a slightly larger on each corners, slightly larger from where the head is, right here, so you have that nice symmetry. Getting there, about 2/3 of the way. Try and be consistent in where you set down your needle. This thing can get lost really easy. So be consistent in where you set down these two tools after you pull it through, because with all of the rigmarole, it can get lost. So keep tabs on that important needle. Voila, you have all of your outside cones and your inside cones on. Now I want to show you the back of this now. So that's the back thus far. Now it gets to the fun part. Now you do start doing all the filling in. You start working with all different kinds of ingredients you've been collecting. So as you start working on what your inner composition is, you always want to be aware where your top is and your bottom, and start building there, and then from the sides. I'm playing with a look here. This is going to be a gift for my husband's son. He and his wife are having a baby, and their grandmother is from South Africa, and she's been collecting these guinea fowl feathers and porcupine quills, so I want to incorporate those in the design. I have some heather that I picked up on my walks, and I dry roses, so I want to use all those in the design, just kind of playing with it. On this wreath, I'm starting at the bottom. I like to look at the pine cones from both sides. You see one side, and then when you turn it over, sometimes the bottom side is kind of more what you're looking for. And I'm going to use that today in this design, because I just like the way it fits in there. Twist, 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 and we know that's going to go there. We're going to glue those babies in there and then stick more pine cones in there. But I want the color of the flowers with this. So that's where we're starting. Now this pine cone, I'm slightly anchoring in the green tape of the feather and the flowers so that it'll hold it in place. You can see I'm just slightly anchoring it. And later on, when they get too dusty and all those things, then they can be pulled out, cut out, and replaced with their treasures. So we'll just come on, baby. Come on, baby. Because we've got it. You want to go outside?